Hi, and welcome to the Ham Radio Newbie. I'm Jeff, and I'm the newbie. This YouTube series is going to be all about my journey into ham radio. And I'm going to take you along with it so that hopefully you don't make some of the same mistakes that I do. And it'll provide a place where we can have some discussions. As I said, I'm new to all this, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm asking a lot of questions. And I'm sure a lot of my questions are the same things that you're going to want to know if you're getting into ham radio. So I'm just a few months ahead of you. I've only been doing this since April of 2024. It's currently September 2025. So not that long in, and I can give you some ideas. So I think the first thing to do is to tell you why I'm even interested in ham radio and a little bit about my journey. And it might be similar to what you're thinking, and it may give you some ideas. So the first thing is, why do I want to be in ham radio? Well, I found out that I like people and I like meeting new people. I really enjoy traveling, but it's kind of expensive to try to go all around the world. But ham radio gives me an opportunity to talk to folks in different places. And they're generally interesting people. They generally have some similar things of interest that I have. And it's been fun. On top of that, I like to tinker. I like to build things. I like to play. And it's been good for that too. So all in all, I'm enjoying this hobby. How did I get into it? Well, I've had a long love affair with radio, but I didn't do much with it. It started probably in elementary school when I got a set of walkie-talkies, and I would talk with my friend across the street back and forth, and sometimes we could even do it at night, but most of the time it was really beyond the range of what that little walkie-talkie would do. But still, it was fun, and we would go out in the woods, we would go hide in our tree fort, and we would go around, and we would have a lot of fun with that. When I was 13, I got a CB radio. That was the days of CB radio. And my friend Mike got one as well. And it was not uncommon for us to talk for a while on the phone, or even worse, one of us would go to the other's house and say, hey, get on the radio, and then go home so that we could talk on the radio. And again, we just had fun. We were just messing around and enjoyed it. When I was in college, I had an interesting project. It was a real-time computing in the laboratory course. And in that course, I made a Morse code interpreter. Now, the problem is I don't understand Morse code. I still don't. So I got my friend Bill to come over and help. Now, Bill was a ham and had been for a while. His father was, so he had learned it some from him and some from other people. But Bill even did a really cool thing where I sent a message from Pittsburgh to Miami Beach, where my grandparents were. He radioed it, or maybe it was Morse code, I don't remember, to someone who then picked up the phone and called them locally. They loved it. I loved it. It was pretty cool. But I didn't think about radio again for a long time, because back then you actually needed to know Morse code. You don't now. There's no requirement, and that's part of what's made it fun for me. At some point, maybe I'll learn Morse code, maybe not, but that's down the lane. Anyway, life got in the way, didn't do anything for it. Recently, my wife and I joined the Keller CERT, the Community Emergency Response Team. And part of our training was how to use the radios. And when we help with the 4th of July or the wintertime festivals, we'll be out there, and mostly people are coming up and saying, hey, where's the restroom? Hey, where's the food vendor? Or where's the lost and found? And it's really convenient to have the radio to be able to talk back to the truck so that we all stay in. Now, we do that over something that's just a little bit extended from those walkie-talkies that we used as kids, and that's called MERS radio. And MERS radio are great. They're point-to-point, line of sight, so you've got to be able to be pretty close to each other, a mile at most, probably more like half a mile or a quarter mile. But somebody's got to be on the other end. Obviously, someone has to be on the other end, but you can only go that way. I got a GMRS radio not long after that because longer distance and thought it would be great. But what I didn't realize at the time is I thought you could only use the channels that were on the GMRS radio. That's not true. There are repeaters, and I'm going to have a whole episode on repeaters and how great they are. But basically what it is I talk to the repeater and you talk to the repeater, and we can talk to each other through that repeater. It's just another radio that's put up high between us generally with agreed to frequencies so that we can all get to it. They're great. And like I said, I didn't realize that there were GMRS nets and repeaters and groups, and they're all over. A GMRS license only costs about 35 bucks, and there's no test. And that license is good for your whole family, your immediate family. And it's really easy. You just go on the FCC's website, fill out a couple of forms, send them their money, always get the money, and within a few days, you've got it. I got my GMRS license in April of 2024. I'm cheating, I've got notes over here. And like I said, I didn't use the radio very much because I was sticking strictly with the channels and not trying to hit repeaters because I didn't know. But I knew I was going to go on to ham radio at some point. And in October of 2024, I took my technician exam, passed it on the first try. It's not hard. I really overpsyched myself up for it. It's a relatively straightforward test. You can take it online. And first of all, they give you all the questions and all the answers. So studying for it's not hard. There are some good study groups for it, and I will include the one that I used. I wish I had used it for my technician. I only use it for my general. And I got on the air on UHF, VHF, and mostly using one of these little handheld radios. And they're great. They're cheap. You can get them online for about 25 bucks, sometimes less. There are some companies to get it from that are better than others. If I had it to do it all over again, and I love Amazon, I'm a big fan, I'm even a stockholder of Amazon because they do a great job. But had I had to do it all over again, I would have bought this from a company like Radioddity or one of those. I'll leave a link to them below as well. And the main reason is because you get some support. If you have a problem, you can talk to or email an actual person who cares about getting you the technical responses that you need. So I did UHF, VHF for a while, and I got to be honest, I was a little disappointed at how few people were online, but I kept going. I knew I was going to go HF at some point. And when the president announced that there were going to be tariffs, we all knew that they were coming in, and most of the radios are made overseas. I decided, okay, I'm going to buy the radio, but I can't use the radio until I pass the test. So I bought my radio, and I sat for my general in March of 2025. I missed one question. I know exactly what question I missed. I used one of the study groups, and again, I'm going to include the link to it because I'm mind blanking on their name right now. And it was great, and it was easy, and I got on the HF as soon as my license came in, and I've been playing since then. I started listening, and I listened to people in Chile and up in BC, Canada, and lots of people in Ohio and in Virginia, and I'm making good distance. It was better in the spring than it is during the summer when the bands kind of fell apart. And I'm looking forward to the fall when things are supposed to get better. And of course, we'll talk about that, and I'll give you what actually happens. I did something else that I didn't expect. I actually got into one of the digital modes. It's called FT8. You'll learn about it at some point, and I'll show it in a video in the future. I really thought I only wanted to talk to people, what we call phone. But it turns out FT8 is a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And the radio does most of the work for you once you pick who you want to talk to, and when they connect to you, and you go from there. It's really great. It's been fun. I've done a couple of contests. I joined a club. Highly recommend joining a club. That's where you meet people who actually are going to be able to tell you what to do, not people who like me who are still learning. and watched a lot of YouTubes, and I recommend that too. But it's a journey, and I've just started, and I'm enjoying it, and come along with me, and I think you're going to have some fun too. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the different kinds of radios that I've bought and where I've bought some from, and recommendations that have been made to me, many of which I did not follow, and a little bit of regret on some of that. And that's what I'm going to tell you. So in the radio world, it's common to sign off to say goodbye, good luck, best wishes, and you do that with the code 73. So just like most of the other hams on the air, I'm going to say 73 until next time. This is Jeff, and I'm clear.